All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. Man, Gervonta Davis pulls a diva move, blast the PBC for some ASS promotion by no showing to the arrivals for the big fight taking place this weekend. These young boys is wild. However, turned something that was pretty much a non-newsworthy thing into something that it is. So let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon, and in this video, we got to call it like it is. Gervonta Tank Davis pulls a diva move and leaves the PBC, Amazon Prime, and in their Premier Boxing Champion, their champions in their big arrival ceremony, hanging out to dry, and this is why he does it. Man, Gervonta, man, is like one of these, can I say, man, like one of these artists, one of these really persnickety artists, man. But before I get into the details, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you're new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you're a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. It makes a big deal to the channel. Shout out to my guy, Daryl McKinney. Hope you're working that problem out, man. And I'm sure you will get it worked out. You know you're my guy, my man, 100 grand. But let's get into this because, hey, man, you got to call it like it is sometimes. And Gervonta Davis, who has a really big fight coming up this weekend against Frank Martin, pulls a diva move and no shows to the event, the grand arrivals. And not only does he no-show, he takes some shots at the PBC on the way in there and makes him look bad because Calvin Ford gets up there and explains why he's not there. But Gervonta Davis is on Twitter taking shots at the promotion at the same time. So, as you guys know, Gervonta will be fighting Frank Martin. David Benavidez will be fighting Alexander Wojcik. You also have Carlos Adames fighting. Man, who is Carlos Adames fighting again? Carlos Adames is fighting, Terrell Gausha. And big fight I'm looking forward to is Gary Russell Jr. versus Alberto Puello. I'm buying the pay-per-view. I don't think that the pay-per-view event is going to be affected much by the fact that Gervonta Davis didn't show up to the grand arrivals. This is a grand arrival is where all of the fighters come in. Obviously, it's Tuesday, so Tuesday everybody's supposed to come there, go into the casino where the fight is going to be held. This was the MGM Grand, and do a little bit, walk through a crowd, shake hands or whatever, get up there, give a little short interview, and that's it, right? So I didn't see whether or not Gary, Antoine, Russell, and Puello were there or not because I kind of checked in late. I was in the middle of a workout. But I definitely saw David Benavidez was there. David Benavidez was there. Carlos Adames was there. And, they did their thing. And I'm sitting there waiting like, okay, when is Tank going to show up? I know that Tank is going to show up late. But when he didn't show up at all, and Calvin Ford came up there and said, look, sorry, man, we're really looking forward to the fight. We're prepared for the fight. But Gervonta Davis, I'm sorry, he can't make it. He's running behind. I don't know if he said he's running behind or if he said he was held up, but he can't make it, right? I was like, oh, man, come on, man. This is the same thing that he did, well, before the Ryan Garcia fight. He really held up. I think it was the first interview. I think it was LA. The first one was in LA. The second was in New York, but I think maybe in the Los Angeles press conference, it took, I want to say Gervonta Davis was like 40 minutes, 50 minutes late and made everybody wait. This time he does the same thing, except for he just flat out no shows. Now, when he tweets out that this whole promotion has been ASS, watch me not show up to the press conference. Jake Donovan is who I saw tweet that out. It just made Gervonta Davis look petty. Can't lie, dog. That's a prima donna move. Hey, look, man, I'll call it a buck and a half, $1.50, $1.75. I like Gervonta Davis as a fighter a lot. I like him as a person a lot. I like the PBC. Big time fans of Kenny Ellison and Calvin Ford. But man, as a real intelligent man told me one time, the higher, shout out to Errol Spence Sr., who said this, the higher a monkey climbs up the tree, the more you see his ass. And that's exactly what Gervonta Davis did, just showed his backside. Now, what's the effect of it going to be? The effect of it's going to be that a whole lot of YouTube pages are going to talk smack about him. Talk about how he no-showed. Talk about how the promotion's doing bad because Gervonta said the promotion's doing bad. I don't know, man. I think that this is probably a good part of the promotion because short of that, there wasn't going to be anything to really talk about on YouTube or in the media about the press conference because they were just going to give the same, I'm going to beat him. I'm ready to go. I'm not worried about sparring sessions, right? All of that. But now let me tell you something else, though. Something that made me think for a second that this dude may be getting ticked off about what was going on with that promotion. And it was the woman who was doing the interviews. I'd never seen her before. Blonde-haired lady who, after David Benavidez was introduced, she goes into the crowd and starts basically talking about how everybody's there to see David Benavidez. And how, and saying, hey, man, I hope Frank could win the fight. Frank could win the fight. And I'm like, hold on, man. What are you doing that for? Why is the lady that is doing the announcement acting like she's rooting for Gervonta to lose? Because somebody said, hey, man, I want to see a knockout for Gervonta in round 2. The other person that she interviewed said, I wanted to see a knockout in round 3. And she said, well, are you going to bet your money on that? And the lady said, no. And she was like, yeah, because I don't think that's going to happen. I'm a big fan of an upset. I'm a big fan of upsets. I want to see upsets. So when she did that, I was like, oh my goodness, are we going through this again where you're going to see a Gervonta Davis fight like where it was on Showtime and you listen to Abner Mares and Abner Mares acted like or sounded like he was rooting against Gervonta the whole time. But this time it actually took place in the grand arrivals with the lady that was doing the interview. I just like, you're supposed to play it a little bit more neutral, lady. Play it a little bit more neutral. But anyway, that doesn't take away from the fact that Gervonta Diva Cats, it was like no-showed him. But in this instance, hey, they didn't wait around forever. David Benavidez said what he had to say. They walked around a little while. After that, they were like, hey, man, he ain't showing up. And they just kept it pushing. So at least his no-show, better a no-show than me sitting there waiting for an hour and a half for him to show up. But anyway, man, Diva move, but we'll see what happens in the fight. Please let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.